Hey Nerf and IC. It's Superstryfe here, and this is my Superstryfe commission. The Superstryfe is the Stampede shell put on to the back of a working Strife. There's nothing in the Stampede shell, it's just cosmetics. Well, as far as I know, it was first done by Uni 13 or Ice 9. And his was pretty cute. There's a pretty big gap here that needs filled. He used some kind of fancy ass plastic. I cut up part of the Stampede shell and some epoxy putty. Exact same thing down here. Huge hole. He used some fancy ass plastic. Again, I cut pieces of a Stampede shell and used some epoxy putty. So it worked out pretty well. The bond is exterior all epoxy putty. Yeah. Internally is some 2-part plastic epoxy, liquid plastic epoxy, and then once that was set over top, I poured some Gorilla Glue all over it and gave it a really nice solid feel to it, just because the Gorilla Glue like expands and clings and just makes it feel solid, I guess. I don't know. So that's how the two are bonded together. As for like internal performance modifications on the Strife, replaced the motors with some Solar Bardock RM2s, removed all the locks and cleaned up the electrical system. That's about it for performance wise. Like, yeah. Some other stuff was done just for shits and giggles, pretty much. The LEDs. There are 8 of them. There's 4 on this underrail, giving it this nice glow effect. Glow. There's 2 on each tube. I really like these tubes. They turned out great. I think they're pretty cool. I like doing LEDs this way. I like it. So 4 and 4, 8, running off of a 9-volt in right here. So you just unscrew that, and your 9 volts right there. So that's good. It's definitely a plus side. Speaking of that, the switch bank. Well, let's talk about the voltmeter first. There's a voltmeter. It's red because the theme of this blaster. The theme of this blaster. Yeah. The commissioner sent me a link to Ice 9's video and said, "This is pretty much what I want." And I was like, "Well, I can make Superstryfe." So, he wanted black and red because he has some armor that he plays in a LARP game with that's black and red, and I think this will match pretty well. So, he's gonna have fun. So back to the switch bank. The first one is the voltmeter. The second one is the LEDs. And the last one is the flywheels. Pretty much just safety is what the last switch is. And right now they're all off in the same position. Now they're all on, so they have the same polarity, which any kind of electrical work you do should have. I don't know why you wouldn't. That's about it. The barrel attachment port is actually modified. There's like an inner ring that I removed, a good solid piece of plastic that is gone now. And the reason that it's gone is because this has a bigger inner diameter than the stock barrel, which will help. Well, actually, it's not going to help really at all, but it's going to make it less worse. Yeah. No, it's going to allow the darts to go by through the tube better and not bounce off and lose some energy or something like barrel drag is a physics phenomenon that is known to happen, so that helps. Probably not very much, but it is some thin wall 1/2 inch PVC, and because it's a little bit bigger, actually a lot bigger, I had to modify the tip of this to allow it to retain its normal function. I guess we're basically moving on to the front attachment. He wanted it under some Slife. Under slung strong arm. Cat talk. So I made one. I was going for the smallest possible. Other ones that I've seen have the entire retaliator barrel and like half the handle. So I decided to cut off 1/4 of the retaliator barrel, just right there at the bottom, and the entirety of the handle, just lob that off. And it's pretty much as small as it possibly could be, and it fits like perfectly over the rail, and actually the LEDs give it a kind of nice underglow look, so that's pretty cool. And so it fits super well. That's always good. It's fairly sturdy. It is pretty sturdy when you're holding it, and, you know. So it's slam fire only, and you just slide back, slide, and it shoots, and then it rotates, and reload and go. The slide, the top of it has been completely just lobbed off, and that is to allow for the magwell, so you can actually, you know, use your Stryfe and your under slung strong iron at the same time, which is always a good thing to do. There is a laser right where the iron sight was. Excuse me. There's a laser right where the iron sight was. There was a stupid little plastic thing flipped up and down. That was a laser. There's not really a point to having laser sights on a Nerf blaster because it doesn't do anything. It doesn't increase accuracy at all. It gives you a general ballpark of where you're pointing, and I mean, you know that anyway just by holding the blaster. But also, it's kind of cool for intimidation. That actually does work. So, the batteries for it are wunderbar. Where I removed this triangle, the batteries just kind of sit and are actually connected to the 1/2 inch thin wall PVC. So you can change them just from right here, and you don't really notice them. I actually handed it to my friend when I had finished it, and that's when I tested it. Actually, I did a round or two with him, so it performed great. But I handed this to him, and I was like, where are the batteries for the laser? And I turned it on, and the switch is right there, by the way. So you can easily get to it when it's on, so it's a good spot for it. So I turned it on, and I was like, where are the batteries? He couldn't figure it out for a couple minutes, and then I had to show him. So I think it's a really cool hiding spot, but not really. You just don't know, so why would you look there? That's pretty much it. The paint is, I guess, the only other thing to go over. Okay. It got black vinyl dye base coat, and then another coat of black vinyl dye, and then some red vinyl dye. It's all vinyl dye. Yeah. And then 2 coats of some Krylon clear coat, and it turned out pretty great. One last thing. The commissioner also wanted a strong arm. It's just a painted strong arm. That's it. Cool. So apparently this means that commissions are open. If you want to send me a message or whatever. I haven't really been on the YouTube scene for quite a while, and for those few subscribers of you that are still here, thanks. But I have a pretty large backlog, and I'm going to release them as I see fit. So, you guys have fun, and keep on nerfing.